Okay, so it's quite topical that we've recently had a fast track announcement for the expansion of the remarkable ski field, which quite a few people will be excited about. There's a lot of other fast track applications happening for housing and other bits and pieces, and people feel that they can't be involved in the planning process, or they think that this council is approving all these fast track applications. So probably a good chance just to say what our role is, what does council do, and how the fast track process sort of really operates. You want to just summarise that?
Yeah, so the fast track process is the result of a piece of legislation that was put in earlier this year, and it enables organisations, energy companies, big infrastructure providers, residential housing developers, ski fields, to put in applications that effectively fast track them through the normal planning process. So when an applicant makes a fast track application, it goes into a completely separate work stream, and it goes through the Environmental Protection Agency, and a decision is made by commissioners. So we are then the recipients of that decision. We do have the opportunity as a council organisation to make comment on the application, but the comment is very, very technical. So does this align with our district plan? Does this align with our spatial plan? Our elected members also have the opportunity to make a brief statement based on their understanding of the community sentiment in relation to a matter. Our position is taken into account formally within the process, but the community sentiment component is at the discretion of the commissioners themselves.
So it's a really different process. It's not like somebody applies for a resource consent for 1,000 houses, goes against through our planning team, and we run a hearing, or
it's public notification.
So that's all out the window. We have very limited control, but what I've seen from some of the work that the staff have put into in respect to these applications, they're really going into bat, as hard as they can to say, if something doesn't meet with our align with our district plan or our values or our environmental standards, they're really trying to flag that up. But at the end of the day, it's not our decision, and that's really hard. And some of these applications are in places that, under the old regime, wouldn't have had a chance of getting through, and that makes it really difficult because so some of these developments are very short term, and our community here for the long term.
Yeah, it's a really challenging space, and because of the pace of change in this, we've got a significant number of residential housing applications, which will place a lot of strain on our roading network, our healthcare, our education system. So part of our role of council is to continually advocate for those improvements that will go alongside this, should they be approved.
So the things that we need to go alongside housing, health, education, transport, energy supply, they're all things that council don't do, right? That's not the space that we work in, but we're actually having to advocate for that. So because we know that if the housing goes in on its own and nothing else goes alongside it, it won't end well.
Agreed. One of the things I would say though is when we are providing our responses, we're constantly looking back at documentation that has been consulted on with the community. So the spatial plan, the district plan, all have a huge expression of community sentiment within them, and they have been built on those foundations. So we're trying to draw those into the commentary as much as we're able to.